There are many inequalities still impacting in LGBT people in Northern Ireland. We want to see those addressed, everything from education to healthcare, but more importantly than all that, we want to see a commitment from our government that they're going to address the inequalities that our community experience. We want to see that running cross-departmental. We want to see the different departments working together to meet the evidence need of our community. We don't need individual plans from individual departments. We need to see government responding to those identified needs in a holistic way. We also need to see clear time frames, clear outcomes, and also a budget allocated to a sexual orientation strategy to ensure that it can be delivered. Ideas are great, but we need to see real actions.
The Equality Commission is calling on the new executive to produce a sexual orientation strategy for Northern Ireland. What would this entail, and is there a sexual orientation strategy currently in place?
Well, the short answer to the second one is no, and the Together Building United Community said there would be one in 2013. But as you probably know from the press, it hasn't been an easy thing to get, and we're asking that it's brought forward in this mandate as a matter of urgency. We'd be looking for a couple of things. We'd be looking for prejudice to be tackled, because the figures that the PSNI have just issued show that homophobic crime and homophobic incidents are in the increase. We'd also look to be raising awareness of what the rights of LGBT people are, and also promoting positive attitudes. So we're saying, and this has to be across all the government departments.
What are the causes for this increase of hate crimes being reported at the PSNI when it comes to homophobic and transphobic crimes?
Well, it's hard to be clear. It could be that people are more free to report them. It could be that there are more of them happening. It could be that we actually have more gay people here. But the bottom line is that we are still being told lots of people don't report. So whatever numbers are there, they're actually a small proportion of what's actually happening. And a number of those, the bulk of them are actually against people. They're violence against individuals and not break-ins, of course, are there too. But this is something around people not knowing what their rights are, but also about promoting awareness about LGBT issues.
What tend to be the recurring issues experienced by your service users?
Our service users at the minute are marriage equality is an issue for the families and couples that we're working with. Also, it's visibility. As women, as gay and bisexual women, they often can't see people like themselves, in the media, in the mainstream. And it's just really peer support, especially for children. We find that the impact on the children, being able to see other families like their own, is really beneficial.
Why do we need this strategy? Under EU laws, EU countries approved unanimously new powers to combat discrimination on the grounds of gender, and it's covered in the Convention of Human Rights as well by the EU. So why do we need this in Northern Ireland?
That deals with a certain aspect of prejudice, it deals with a certain aspect of hate, but not the experiences of everybody. It doesn't deal with every aspect of life, and in particular, if we look at education, the needs of LGBT people are not being met and are not a statutory requirement to be met. We have to realise that in Northern Ireland, homosexuality was only decriminalised in 1982, so people who are in their 40s today have spent a period of their time as criminals, and those older obviously longer than that. We need to realise how our society views people of minority sexual orientation and the hundreds of years of discrimination that our community have faced. That's not something that changes overnight. We've seen commitment by government on good relations issues in relation to sectarianism and racism, and that's only to be welcomed, but we need to see the same commitments around homophobia and transphobia.
How are the issues of gender and sexual orientation tackled in our school curriculum? Is enough being done?
I don't think there's enough being done within the school curriculum, and I think that's why there's a movement within individual schools to try and set up things to support the LGBT students. That's what we've been doing within our own school. We've set up a support group for staff and students called Gay, Straight, Whatever, and that's been running for the past couple of years. And the whole aim is trying to address some of the problems that are encountered by young people in our schools. Homophobic bullying is a major problem within our schools. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to address that by really focusing on preventing homophobic language within Hazelwood.
What needs to change in our education system?
We need to realise the impact of homophobic and transphobic bullying. Young people have the right to learn about people like them and people from their communities. LGBT issues are not part of the statutory curriculum here in Northern Ireland. We need to ensure that young people are being given appropriate relationship and sexuality education, which reflects the relationships that they are likely to have, that reflects the relationships that include their parents that they may come from as well, that includes visibility of LGBT people people and LGBT parented families as well. We need to see that happening right across education, not just in RSE, not just in sexual health, but in relation to geography, music, art, history. We need to be reflecting on the history of LGBT people and the wonderful culture of LGBT people as well.
I think just a bit more openness would have an amazing impact for young people. You know, we all know there's issues with bullying in schools, and this is particularly difficult for young people struggling with their sexuality. So I think it would have a massive benefit if there was just a bit more openness, and if those conversations, if school was a safe place to have those conversations.
Here in Northern Ireland, we're somewhat behind the rest of the UK when it comes to LGBT equality. Is it of a comfort of you teaching with young people that maybe these people going into the future could be our political leaders or may get involved with the equality struggle in the future, and that maybe one day we will catch up with the rest of the UK and Europe?
What I've discovered since we started the Gay Straight Whatever group in school is that the pupils are interested in politics. It may be politics with a small p, but they're interested in work within their community. They're interested in speaking to people out there. They're interested in making a change, and that's what I see.
Do you expect any changes on LGBT outlook by the Assembly, given that it is still the DUP with a majority?
Yeah, I think some of the higher level issues we're going to struggle to get through the Assembly, like equal marriage, but there are ongoing court cases in them. I think there are things such as the sexual orientation strategy with the DUP in the past have gave commitments for the delivery of that and have failed to meet those commitments. I would like to see a recommitment to those issues within this mandate. I would like to see the executive delivering upon them.
I would like to see better workplace practice. I would like people from the LGBT community to know what their rights are and to come to us. And the message of today is you don't have to put up with harassment, you don't have to put up with unfair treatment. Law is available, protections are there, and come and talk to us or some of our staff.